golfers in the room? Not that, all right. For those of you who don't play golf, the game is set up so that the best golfers in the world can play with the worst golfers in the world. It's called the handicap system. The higher the handicap, the worse the golfer. The lower the handicap, the better the golfer. So a 10 handicap golfer is better than a 20 handicap golfer. 5 handicap golfer is better than, you with me? I was playing golf with a friend of mine, and it's a twosome. We went twosome, and usually it's 4 people. So the starter is the guy that always starts picking off on golf, or a gal, hooked us up with somebody. And the guy who hooked us up with was a professional golfer, a club pro. So the club pro said, I'll keep score. And we said, great. He said to my buddy Mike, what's your handicap? And Mike said, I'm a 15, which is a pretty good golfer, amateur golfer. We shoot in the 80s and hold his own. So we started playing, and about the 6th or 7th hole, the pro said to Mike, you're not a 15, you're an 8. Now that sounds like, Mike, you're a liar. It's called sandbagging. You fake your handicap to steal money from people. And Mike said, are you calling me a sandbagger? He said, no, Mike, I'm not. You're an 8 handicap golfer playing to a 15. Why don't you play to an 8 like you're capable of? His game immediately got better. We started playing like an 8. Just that little bit of encouragement. So, having said that, I flew here yesterday from Palm Springs. I was at an annual conference of, oh, by the way, Ron, the Berthel Fisher Conference. The number 1 advisor was 79 years old.
Is that right?
Yeah, great guy, great shape, good health, pretty cool. So I went to this Enesco. Enesco is Ohio Nationals broker-dealer. We had the awards ceremony Thursday night. The number 1 advisor in that room got the award. Did barely over $1 million he earned. It blew me away. I can walk into any Merrill Lynch office in the country and show you 5 people earning $1 million. At UBS, the average advisor earns $1 million. We're all playing above our handicap. Everyone in that room should have been earning $1 million. Everyone in this room should be earning $1 million. It's got nothing to do with geography. I got a buddy who's top 10 in LPL. Now that's millions and millions of dollars in income. He's in a town called Dwight, Illinois, with a population of 4,000 people. So you don't have to be in Dallas or New York or Chicago to earn that much money. Geography has nothing to do with it. I spoke in January to the top 100 advisors in the United States. One of them is from Davenport, Iowa. You'd think they'd all be from New York. They're not. So what are these big people doing? You've all heard me talk about differentiation. I'm not going to do that today. But they're different. They have the same, they're not smarter than you. They're not, they work, you all work hard. They don't work harder than you. They are great, among other things. Well, there's a lot of ways they're different. But among other things, they're great communicators. Storytelling is a misnomer. It should be renamed as the greatest form of communication in the world. If you can story tell, your production will go through the roof. For one simple reason, people don't buy what they don't understand. And we talk like techies, we talk expertise, and we confuse them, and they say, let me think it over because I don't know what the hell you're talking about. If everybody in the world understood every single word you said, you would have Bill Gates' money. If nobody understands you, you're going to fail in a heartbeat, or somewhere in between. So all story selling is the greatest form of communication in the world. I want to start by giving you an example. I'm from Wall Street. I was a financial advisor on Wall Street. I'm not an insurance guy, but I was on Wall Street. And one of the biggest objections we always got was obviously risk. People want to buy CDs. They want to buy bonds. But you and I know if they don't grow their money, they're not going to be able to retire comfortably. If someone retires today at 65 and lives to be 90, prices will triple in their retirement years. Your income's not going to triple, prices are. So if you want to retire on $100,000, you need $300,000. $100 to live on and $200 to defer inflation. Because inflation is like bad high blood pressure, it's going to kill you eventually. So but the person would come in and say, no, I don't want to take any risk. I want to buy CDs, I want to buy bonds. Now I know this couple should put their money in the market. So I can do it logically, right, Brian? I can give them a logical argument like I'm a PhD from MIT. They're not going to understand what I'm saying. Or I can tell them a story with my selling skills. What's the better way to go? Tell them a story or try to give them a logic? You need both logical and emotional. We'll discuss that. But I had to demonstrate in a way these people are going to understand that the market is not safe and not dangerous if you approach it correctly. In fact, investing is quite safe if you let time be on your side. So I created a selling story. and I'm going to show it to you now. I'm going to show you a couple of them during the day. And I know you sell insurance, I sell investments. The spirit of the thing is the same. I would say, look, I understand that you're risk averse. So your goal is to protect, right? So we have investments that will protect your capital. Hey, Luis, I have to start again. I've been going for an hour. I got to start again. We have investments that protect your principal or protect your buying power. Where do you want to be on that scale? Me and somebody said somewhere in between, right? I say, look, let me show you what investing really is. Can I tell you a quick story about investing? Just tell you a quick story. And they go, yeah, and this is the story I created. We're going to do the same thing for you for life insurance. Well, I got to convince them a share of stock is not a lottery ticket. But odds of 1 in 500 million, you're going to lose your money. You're going to make money. I had to convince them of that. So what I was talking about, let me tell you the story of an average American, what an average American does during the day. And when I'm done, let's talk about investing, fair enough? I would say, and I would do this probably not PowerPoint, maybe sometimes if I talk to them, at least talk to them about it. This is a typical American. How many Americans wake up in the morning when the alarm goes off on their Apple iWatch or Apple iPhone? How many people in this room have an Apple iPhone? How many millions of Americans own an Apple iPhone? Use that as their alarm clock. Millions and millions of people do that every single day. You know what they do then? They check their email. Probably they have a plan with Verizon. They bought their data plan at Verizon on their iPhone. It could be Sprint, it could be probably a Verizon customer. A lot of Americans are. Then, this guy goes for a run. What kind of shoes are they wearing when they run? What's the average American wear for shoes?
Asics.
Nice, my God. What do they wear? Nikes. How many people own Nike? How many often you see Nike shoes? Now our guy gets up and goes for a run. His Apple iWatch woke him up. He checked his emails. Now he's off for a run. When he goes back, he has to get ready for work, so he's in the bathroom. How many people every day use these products?
A lot.
Those products are made by Procter & Gamble. Every one of those. So he shaves with Gillette razor, he uses Head and Shoulder shampoo, brushes teeth with Crest, gets in the shower with Ivory soap. How many people do that every day, John? Every single day. So a guy heads for work, he has to get gas in his car. So he stops at the local Chevron station to gas up. There's a truck blocking the pumps. He doesn't want to wait, he wants to get to work. So he goes across the street to the ExxonMobil station. How many people do it every day? This is Sunday school, not church. You look up. How many people?
I would say on average.
Millions.
Yeah, I would say at least 75% of it.
At least. Then he hears on the radio report, Goldman Sachs has put a report on long-term greedy. People who are short-term greedy don't make money. Long-term greedy is really good. He's like, I'm going to call my advisor and get that report from Goldman Sachs. That sounds pretty cool. The Goldman Sachs analyst talked about it. Now, on the way to work, he gets blocked in traffic because there's a crew removing an excavator from a truck. The excavator is made by whom? Caterpillar. How many times have you seen those things, Omar?
Everywhere.
Everywhere. While he's waiting in his car, he looks around, he sees a new house being built. What's that house wrapped in? What's that stuff called around that house? Tyvek. Who makes it? Dow DuPont. DuPont Chemical makes Tyvek. How many times have you seen that wrap in your life on homes? Especially in Puerto Rico with all the construction going on. You see Tyvek everywhere. Now he gets to work, he jumps in his Otis elevator, made by whom, Jose? Who makes Otis elevator? United Technologies. How many people, isn't that the elevator you're building in Galveston? That's every elevator in the country, made by United Technologies.
Yeah.
He gets to his office, he gets a phone call from his insurance agent at Travelers. What's he want to talk about? Or she wants to talk about a long policy that's recommended by United Health. So he finishes that, and the next he turns on his IBM computer. How many IBM computers in this country? Business IBM computers. Millions and millions and millions. That computer is running Windows 10, made by Microsoft. That's the operating system. By the way, that's Microsoft. Did you invest with those guys years ago? That's Bill Gates on the bottom left. That's Wozniak on the top right. Did you ever invested with those guys? They say, give me all your hard-earned money. You wouldn't have given them 10 cents. That's Microsoft. That's the team. The processor is made by Intel in that computer. Every computer in the world is an Intel processor. The networking system is by Cisco. Everybody in the country is turning on to get a Cisco networking system in their computer. Now, he goes to lunch. Where's he go for lunch? Where's the average American go for lunch who's in a hurry? She's in a hurry. Go to McDonald's, get a Big Mac and a Coca-Cola. Quick lunch, in and out. How many of you go to McDonald's every single day? Tons. Now, he has to get some cash, so he stops at an ATM outside the JP Morgan Chase Bank, gets some cash from JP Morgan Chase, and he stops at a Walgreens. Anybody ever seen a Walgreens on the corner?
Every corner.
Everybody. What does he
You got a
buy? He
headache
buys some
after all
Scotch
that?
guards, some post-it notes, some Scotch tape. Paula, who makes those products? 3M. Then he picks up some Johnson & Johnson Band-Aids, some Listerine, some baby lotion, some Benadryl, all made by who, I'll say? J&J, right? Then he gets some Bengay, because he's running too much. That's made by Pfizer. And he fills his cholesterol prescription, Zocor. Zocor is made by Merck. So he leaves Walgreens. He says, I gotta pay. He says, well, I don't know if I'll use my American Express card or my Visa card. You know what? I'll use American Express for business expense. I'll use my personal expenses with Visa. So he pays with his Visa card. And he leaves Walgreens. He's going home at night, and he wants to finish a patio project that he started. So he stops off at Home Depot to get the supplies for his patio project. Because his brother's coming to visit with his wife over the weekend. Of course, they're flying in a plane made by whom? Boeing, right? And then he has it's his son's birthday, and he wants to get a new Xbox console. So he stops in a store visited every single week by 100 million Americans. 100 million people a week go to Walmart, buy the Xbox console, which by the way is made by Microsoft. And then he calls his wife on the way home and says, you know what? Why don't we go see that new Luke Skywalker movie you wanted to see? We'll catch dinner and go to a movie for that Disney movie. And that's the day in the life of an average American. Do you think that's a pretty average day?
Yeah.
What are all those things? What did I just do?
Name branded. Name branded.
Name branded what?
The market.
That's the Dow Jones Industrial 30. 70% of the publicly traded Americans in the Dow Jones. And that's what I just walked you through. Every single day, Americans give money to all those companies. Every single day. What are you afraid of? Do you think if the market crashes, people are going to stop shaving? I get an idea. The market said, let's all take a shower today. Let's not gas up our cars. God knows what. Do you think that's going to happen? Does the market have anything to do with reality? Look, the day I was born, the Dow was 189. The day I got out of high school, it was 726. When I turned 40, it was 1,400. When I turned 60, it was 10,000. Now it's 26,000. When do you want me to call you? When it's at 30,000? We'll have this discussion again? That's a story cell. Or I could have given him a logical argument, and most financial advisors do, and show him charts and graphs and interest rates and all that Morgan Stanley crap. Or I could just tell him a story, right, Jose? That's story selling. I suggest if you can combine your selling skills, and you got great selling skills, with great storytelling ability, you will earn $1 million. Because my buddy in Dwight, Illinois earns $5 million, there's 4,000 people in that town. And if you look at Merrill Lynch, any other firm, the top 100, 200 advisors are huge. The drop off to mediocrity is incredible. Because people think they're 15 handicap golfers. They don't think they're 8 handicaps. I'm telling you now, if you're earning $100,000, you're $1 million earner making $100,000. Make $1 million. It has nothing to do with where you live. Now, if we're with capital and with that business model, maybe it's different. Because your average ticket sales is like $600. But why not? Someone's doing it. Someone's doing it. You meet Van on Wednesday. Van's a pure salesman. Not a storyteller. He's a salesman. Combine his skills with storytelling skills, it's killer. So, I'm telling you, lead advisors, one of the things they do, that's even a bad title. They're great communicators. Let's talk about story selling. Mary Catherine Bateson, the human species thinks in metaphors and learns through stories. What is a metaphor?
Comparison.
What makes it different from an analogy, which is also a comparison? How's a metaphor different from an analogy? You're all looking down. You're trying to avoid me. Don't
Don, give me your coat.
What are you going to do with it?
Hang it on your chair.
Oh, okay.
Rifle it for a wallet.
A metaphor, an analogy is a little story, a little teeny story in a few words. A metaphor is like an analogy, but use the words like or as. What's a very famous metaphor? Anyone think of one? What did Forrest Gump say to that woman who was sitting on the park bench holding the candy?
Life is like a box of chocolates.
That's a metaphor. Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get, Mama says. If you can learn to speak like that, I mentioned this to some of you before, but I want to mention it again. The U.S. Army publishes manuals for everything. I mean, everything. And they realized several years ago, we got a problem. We got people here that never got out of the second grade. We got people who went to Harvard. How the hell do you make a manual to be read by someone who can't hardly read and someone who's a Harvard graduate? How do you do that? So they hired two guys named Flesch and Kincaid. It's a great website. Flesch Kincaid. They developed a readability, tellability system. If you're going to send a letter to a client, before you send it, go to www.freshkincaid.com, cut and paste your letter into that website. It'll tell you the readability level. Like, you may not know this, and I've told some of you this. The New York Times, every article has to be able to be read by a 10th grader. That's the readability. The readability level of the New York Times is 10th grade. I am telling you, your presentation has to have a readability, tellability factor of the 4th grade. Not because the people you're talking to are stupid, because they know nothing like you know. They don't know what you know. You know, different than an airline pilot sitting down with us talking to us about drag and lift and velocity, and we don't understand. It's the curse of knowledge. Well, so you overcome the curse of knowledge, we'll talk about later, with the Flesch and Kincaid. When we learn, we think in metaphors. It's the way people think. Man, this is hot as, what did Muhammad Ali say? What was he going to do? What was his philosophy? Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. That's a metaphor.
Bob Marley said, my feet is my only carriage. It's a
There you
metaphor.
go. It's a metaphor.
Yeah.
If you can speak in metaphors, man, you will kill it. Because when you make somebody understand something complex, you make them feel smart. When you make someone feel smart, they like you. Likability is the beginning of trust. If we're going to do business with you, I'm going to like you and trust you, right? If I like Jim better, I'm going to do business with Jim. I'm going to do business with people we like. Make me feel smart and I'll like you. Learn to think in metaphors. So we talk metaphors and stories, and that's how we educate our clients. We think in metaphors, we learn in stories. So what is storytelling exactly? It's combining the process of selling with the art of storytelling. If you're a great salesperson, you'll do okay. If you're a great storyteller, you'll do okay. If you combine the two, you'll be all Navy. Trust me. So few people can do this. And it's what separates the top people in any firm from the others. So, if you've got an agent who's held back, who's he or she can't communicate in a way that lifts people up, teach them how to story sell. It's not that hard. It's not that hard. But your thoughts and ideas connect with the people and moves them to take action. If you give a logical argument, you're going to persuade people to buy life insurance. If you tell them a story, Alberta, you're going to motivate them to buy life insurance. So if you've got someone who's failing that works for you, and they should be doing better, not connecting with people, teach them this. Teach them how to story sell. Let's talk about great selling skills. What scene is that?
It's getting in the forest and getting in the...
That's some of the greatest movie dialogue ever written. Do you remember what happened in this scene? Yeah, what happened? What was the scene all about?
He's introduced to her. Introduced to her.
His mama said, "You do your best in school today for us." He said, "I will, Mama."
You can't talk to strangers, I think.
So the school bus pulled up, and there's a woman with a cigarette in her mouth. She opens the door and she goes, "Well?" And he said, "Mama said not to accept ride from strangers." She said, "This is the bus taking you to school." And he just stared at her. And he said, "Hi, my name is Forrest Gump." She said, "Hi, my name is Dorothy. I'm a school bus driver." He said, "Well, I guess we're not strangers anymore, are we?" We're on a school bus. Great movie clip. Here's the anatomy. There's all kinds of sales systems that overlay on storytelling. This is the straight line system. Anybody read The Way of the Wolf? I have the book right there. The Way of the Wolf is Jordan Belfort. Stratton Oakmont. I mean, they got out of control. The Eagles got out of control. But he is one of the greatest salesmen that ever lived. Jordan Belfort is phenomenal. He created a system called the straight line. So I know all these systems. I know everybody's system, but I love his the most. So I steal from you. I live in original time. I'm a steal. I'm a thief. So I stole this from Jordan Belfort. But he says, you've got to make a first impression. You've got to establish rapport. You've got to discover what it's all about from the prospect. You've got to consult, means give a presentation. You gotta ask for the order, you gotta loop. We'll explain what looping is in a minute. Looping's really, if you can loop, you'll be a top salesperson. You gotta get referrals and you gotta focus on the relationships. That's the anatomy of a sale. Let's just talk about a couple of these things. Then we'll talk about, this is great selling skills. Then we'll talk about great storytelling skills. You've got 4 seconds. Literally, when we make these snap impressions, you're on the elevator with a bad-looking guy, a scary Larry, and right away, get this
Scary
instant
Larry.
impression. So when you walk in and first just looking at you, Ralph, when I look at you, I gotta know you're sharp as a tack. I know you've got bottled enthusiasm. Bottled enthusiasm right below the surface is bubbling to get out. And I gotta know, Ralph, you're an expert in insurance and investing, all at a glance. Because I gotta know if you're worth listening to. Are you here to waste my time? That first impression is critical. Critical. You have probably 1 second in person, maybe 4 or 5 seconds on the phone. But man, you better look the part when you walk in here. You better act. We people look out experts. Look up experts. If Scarlett Johansson's going to get an Academy Award, is she going to go to a local hairdresser's meter?
No,
Who's she going to get?
top of the line. That's
Yeah.
available.
Brian, if Jordan Spieth wants to work on a short game, you going to a local pro? Who's he going to? Somebody's going to buy insurance and they're a doctor. They're very complex. They want an average guy.
No.
They want the best guy in Dallas.
Houston.
Houston, see the best guy in Houston.
And that too.
They want the best guy in Houston.
Correct.
We look for, remember your mother took you to a doctor as a kid? I remember thinking to myself, the guy in the white coat and the stethoscope, this guy's earned the right to be called a doctor. Just the way they carry themselves, their carriage. So that first impression, man, that you gotta look, when you walk in the door, that guy's she's gonna know in a heartbeat, man, you can help. You're worth listening to, Omar. Because I have my kind of impression, you're wasting my time, and it's not good for anybody. You gotta establish rapport. You enter the prospect's world. He doesn't enter your world. Every advisor tells you, let me tell you about what I'm selling. Let me tell you about how. You gotta go into his world, not bring him into your world. You gotta establish rapport with the guy. You gotta give him the feeling you can help him. Charisma can be learned. That's the good news. Be charismatic. It's sex appeal. French call it je ne sais quoi. I can't describe it, but I know it when I see it. It's that special charm that certain advisors seem to possess that allows them to effortlessly sign into rapport with the prospects and clients. You've seen it a million times. Maybe hope you got it in big time. But you see people with it, you gotta establish rapport with you, you gotta get them comfortable with you. Then you gotta go into discovery skills. You're a sifter, you're not an alchemist. Guys, I'm not interested in life insurance. Your next word is, thank you, goodbye. Because you're not going to turn a no into a yes. You're there to turn maybes into yeses. I want to think it over into yes. You're not there to turn no's into yeses. So when you're sitting down with a guy for the first time, you're sifting. Is he a looky-loo? We call them plate lickers when we do seminars. Is he to lick the plate? Or is he an absolute, I got to have it right now? That's what you're trying to figure out. You got to ask questions in the right order. From less invasive to more invasive. Where do you live? That's why scripts are so vital. You have to have a script, multiple scripts, and you have to know them. And you got to stay in a straight line. I'll explain what that means. You got to consult. Remember the movie Braveheart? What was the greatest scene in that movie, the most emotional scene? Not the ending where the terrible part.
Got him before.
No, before that. When they're facing the British Army,
The speech.
all those people are lined up, and they know they're going to get slaughtered. Remember that speech he gave with his face painted blue? You all remember that scene in Braveheart? What if he had said to the director, you know what, I don't even need a script, I'll wing it. And he'd been drinking, right? How well written was that? Every movie you've ever seen has had a script. Every play, every TV show, it's all scripted. Nothing in the world is that good. We're like actors in life, we've got to know our lines. I'm not going to walk on stage and wing it. Remember Any Given Sunday in the locker room with Al Pacino? That was so well written. You need scripts for everything. You need stopping off points in your presentation. I see too many advisors ramble on. So a stopping off point is, James, are you with me?
Always.
How do you feel so far?
Fantastic.
That's a stopping off point versus me standing up here and talking for 4 hours and I'm giving a presentation nonstop. So have a script, have stopping off points, and don't ad lib when you consult. Just use, because this guy or gal is looking for an expert, not someone fumbling around.
Can you repeat that again? The stop off points, so I don't understand that.
Yeah, I'm giving you a presentation, Omar. Right in the middle, I stop and say, Omar, is this making sense to you?
Yeah.
I just want to make sure you're with me.
Okay. It's like a little bit disconnecting.
Well, the
about
mind, we literally have a couple thousand daydreams a day. When you start talking numbers, people start daydreaming. And you got to find out, is this guy daydreaming or listening to me?
Yeah.
So, Gardo, you like what I have to say so far? Is this making sense? That's a stopping off point. Just taking temperature, whatever you want to call it, periodically, rather than lecturing.
Are you with me?
Are you with me? You with me so far? When you ask for the order, that's trial close. You're not going to get the order when you ask for it. This doesn't happen. It's trial close. So don't beat around the bush. I see too many people, and so many of my, they don't ask for the order, they beat around the bush, hoping the guy will say, I'll buy this. You gotta ask. Everything you've gotten in life, you've got by asking. Just ask. He's gonna give you an objection. Anticipate that. Objections are your friend. This guy's paying attention. But you gotta ask for the order at some point. So you give a presentation. Eduardo, what do you say we go ahead? Now the objections come out, right? Oh, good idea. Let's start. Now there's gonna be objections. Looping is an effective way to handle objections. An objection is a smokescreen. The person's not comfortable with something. And you gotta loop back and find out what it is. How many times you loop, that's up to you. You're being obnoxious. You'll know. You'll know. But every time you get an objection, you use it to increase his level of certainty by establishing rapport. What is it, James? What is it you're specifically bothered about? You mentioned cost. What is it about cost that bothers you? I'm looping back now, right? I'm going to go back because I can't go on and close him till I know he's with me, right, Jim? You're a great sales. You know that. You don't close. A close, it's like a young pitcher facing a young batter facing a fastball pitcher. They'll swing at anything just to get out of it. When Nolan Ryan pitched, guys would swing at anything just to get out of there. Barry Bonds would wait and wait and wait, hit the ball when it's in the catcher's mitt because he was a pro at it. He was a pro. So you got to know when to close, and this is not close. This is a trial close and looping to get the objections out on the table. Now, that's great selling skill. I'm going to do I do workshops. I'm going to do on November 22nd. This is what I teach. I teach selling. I teach great selling. You've got to sell. Everybody is selling something to somebody. Every politician, every TV, every movie star, we're all selling something. Now, what a great story selling skills. This is an interesting story. I told this story in Puerto Rico a couple weeks ago, so forgive me. Two reporters a couple of years ago went to garage sales and thrift stores. They bought 100 objects. They didn't pay more than $1.25 for any object. Okay? Most they paid $1.29. And they bought jars of candy and wooden mallets and wheat thermometers and paint toys, 100 of these things. They then they brought in people to write stories about each object. Telling them it was, by the way, not, don't have to write a real story, they said. Just write a story. Make up a story about a pink horse. Make up a story about a meat thermometer. Well, they paid $1,300. You with me so far? They then took the stories, put each item up on eBay with the story, and sold them for almost $4,000. Worthless junk. But when it comes to the story, people pay a lot more money than if you put up a meat thermometer or a wooden mallet. It comes with a story. Those stories really, really sell. Another story I mentioned in Puerto Rico, actually. This guy wrote a story. He was at in Cincinnati, went in an art gallery with his wife. And in there was a photograph. He's a photographer. Was a photograph of a pig's nostrils. The pig was swimming in the ocean. The guy wanted like $500 for this picture. The guys, that's the dumbest. His wife said, I love that, because they're looking for their son's room. Well, that'd be different. He said, I'm not paying $500 for a picture of a pig's nose in the ocean. So she says to the artist, he said, oh, let me tell you the story. And he told the story of a little island in the Bahamas where a wealthy guy brought a bunch of pigs to raise them so he'd have bacon down the road. Something happened to him, he never followed through, and those pigs were sitting there. And they weren't doing well. The only thing this island was scrub brush. Pigs don't eat scrub brush. Well, a guy went to a restaurant on a nearby island. One day, he started, and he kept on doing it. He came a couple hundred yards offshore with his restaurant scraps from looking for it and dumped them in the ocean. All the food that was left over, and all the garbage. And the pigs taught themselves to swim out and eat the garbage. Because they love garbage. And he said, that's why I have a picture of that pig in the water. I took that picture. The guy said, I'm buying that. I'm buying that painting right now. That's a great story. So when you offer life insurance, it's worth something to somebody. You give it with a good story, it's worth immeasurably more. So it's not just the product, it's a story behind the product. It's really, really important. So telling a story is like telling a joke. Take your time, you know your punchline, don't memorize it. Word for word, just get it down, your script, know it. And a good story, a good joke is going to connect you to the listener. So listen carefully to what your client tells you. Make sure your stories address problems your clients want to solve. If you listen and I understand your problems and you got a story about, oh, I know somebody just like you, I helped out. Let me tell you a story about that. That's how it is. Here's a simple process. You almost build it. You tell this, you set the stage of a story, you define the challenge, you make a decision, there's a finale, and there's a takeaway. So the story I told about the Dow Jones Industrial Average stocks. Client comes in. How did I set the stage? What did I say? Do you remember what I said?
Inflation is a problem.
Yeah, he was going to buy CDs or bonds, right? That's setting the stage. He was risk averse. What was his check? What was the challenge? If this is his story, what was his challenge?
Risk averse, doesn't want to.
Taking risk, right? Come on, talk to me, folks. Otherwise, you'll go to sleep. I'll bore you to death. What was his? He's got to make a decision. What was the end of that story? And what was the takeaway? What thought did I hopefully give them when I was done with that story?
He's going to be okay.
It's okay.
Gonna be
It's okay to invest. Telling a story is very simple. Set the stage. You want every story you tell about life insurance, Dad's the hero, okay? Dad's going to slay the dragon and save his family. That's you set the stage. You make Dad the hero. You tell him this challenge. He goes, premiums are tough to pay every month. It's hard to keep going. I know that. It's expensive. Other things come up. You got to make a decision. He did. He made a decision. You know what? His family was taken care of. Something happened to him in a bad accident. He died. The family was taken care of. That's a simple story. Simple, but tell that story. People want to do business with people who are like them. Right? So if you've done business with people like me, or have I ever? When you combine the two, you get story selling. So you get great sales skills, great storytelling skills, put them two together, it's called story selling. So let me tell you why it's important. You need 3 tens if you're going to make a sale. This is my crazy way of explaining this. For every sale you made over the course of your career, you got 3 tens every single time. When you didn't make a sale, you didn't get 3 tens. Period, end of story. If you can get 3 tens, you will close everyone in the world who is closable. Not everyone's closable, right? Would you agree with that? You can't close everybody. Some people are just not going to buy. But everyone is closable. You will close if you can get 3 tens. I want to show you how to get 3 tens. You got to get 3 tens. How do you do that? Every sale is a straight line. Every sale. Every situation is different. Every case you go on ski is different, but every sale is the same. From hi, my name is James Durham, but thanks for becoming my client. That is a straight line. And your job is to move these people along this line from the day you say hi till the day they become your client. You're pushing them, you're nudging them along the line constantly. Every sale, I don't care if you're talking to the richest guy in Puerto Rico or somebody who works as a clerk, it's the same sale. It's exactly the same. His needs might be different, it might be more complex, but generally it's the same. Here's why. Along the way, there's a continuum of uncertainty. We have people who are absolutely uncertain, we have people who are absolutely certain. When a guy walks in, you got to figure out where he is on that line first day, let's say. Now, if he's a 5, you know what a 5 is? I'm open, sell me. Oh, listen, I'll give you a fear. Give me your best shot. That's a 5. What's a 3, Steve?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure this is for me.
Yeah, if he's an 8, Brian, where is he? You got to figure it out when he walks in. He walks in with predisposed opinion, right? He's not a 10, he's not a 1. He's somewhere in between. But you got to establish for each 10 a level of absolute certainty. There are 3 tens. Here's the first one. Product comes first. He has to believe that what you're selling makes absolute sense to him. He has to be absolutely certain. What if he's not certain, Ralph? Not gonna do it. He's gotta be absolutely convinced this is right. That's number one. It's the product. What's number two, Brian? So you have to be convinced about it. You. That's number two. Number two, he's gotta trust and connect with you. Right? That's the second 10 you've gotta get. He's gotta be so into you that he knows you're the right person for him. And the third 10 is he has to trust and connect with the company behind the product. Omar,
Which one?
what if you're in there, the guy likes you, the guy likes the product, but he's heard something bad about the agency. Is he gonna buy?
No?
Probably not, is
Does
he?
not feel the confidence of the backup people.
Luis, what if he loves Kiana's agency, loves you, but doesn't quite trust you?
How did he
He's gonna be a client, loves you, loves the agency, loves the product, doesn't quite trust you.
loves everybody else except me?
No, he just doesn't trust you. Is he gonna be a buyer?
No, he's not even gonna come in. Because
Well, after it's over, I'm talking about during the presentation. While you're talking, he said, I don't trust this guy.
So,
It's over.
Yep.
I'll bring him.
What if he trusts you, loves the clearance agency, he's heard great things about it, doesn't like you?
he's not gonna do it.
You gotta get 3 10s, right? Too many salesmen fail to get 3 10s, salespeople. They think if I tell him about the product, he'll buy it. If he likes me, he'll buy it. No.
Trust, like, and respect.
You've got the product first, you second, you second, the company third. What if he, Jose,
So maybe sometimes we want too much compliant that we think since they liked us, they're gonna buy from us. You know?
yeah,
But
too many
that's
people
not
feel
it.
that way.
But
That's
not
the
it.
Music Man. Remember that movie?
That's not it.
Guy has to like you. He has to like the product. He has to like your solution. He has to like you, trust you, and he has to love American National. You know, when Hurricane Andrew hit Miami in 1989, I'm not sure of the insurance company, so I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say it. But it was a major insurance company didn't honor their commitments. They called it an act of God, Hurricane Andrew. It was car insurance. And over 1 million cars were totaled in Hurricane Andrew in Miami, in that part of Florida. Insurance company said, see ya. To this day, that was 1989, people will not buy their car insurance in Florida. They don't trust the company. It's a major name. I don't forget the name, Allstate, somebody. They don't trust them. I gotta like you, I gotta trust you, I gotta love American National. So you've got to build stories about the product, about you, and about American National. That's what the great ones do. And tell those stories. That's my little clicker. Those are the 3 10s.
Don, I was reading the book by Warren Buffett, and he said that he only made business if only 3 things appear to be on the table with the other side. He either had to trust him, respect him, and like him.
Yeah.
If those
Who
three,
is this?
Warren Buffett.
Warren Buffett.
That's in the Snowball Effect, his book. He said this many times. And that this is the
Not 2 out of 3. He didn't say 2 out of 3, did he?
no, I don't recall, but he was
3 out of 3. No, it's 3 out of 3.
Ah, yeah, 3
I
out
gotta
of
like
3.
you, trust you. You gotta like you, trust you, think you're smart. 3 out of 3. Now, so we need 3 10s. Now, the next thing we need to do, that's not enough. The next thing we need to do, there are 2 types of certainty we've got to create in the person's mind, gal's mind. We've got to create logical certainty, and we have to create emotional certainty. So, John, I'm telling you, if we can get 3 10s and establish both kinds of certainty, we open the account. Fail to do it? We don't. Logical certainty is this. It's based on the words you say. From a sober, emotionless perspective, does what you're saying make sense? Yeah, it makes sense, Brian. It makes sense to me. Does your product meet their needs? Is it priced fairly? So from a logical point of view, every word you say has to make sense, the product has to fit, and the price has to be right. That is called logical certainty. You can't deny the logic. Yeah, it's the right product at the right price. I agree with that. But you also need emotional certainty. Emotional certainty is what you're recommending must be good. And I'm getting such a good vibe on this whole thing. This has to be awesome. That's the way car salesmen upsell you. Just picture yourself in this car after you buy it. Driving down. I think you can think about it. That's emotional certainty. You painted your prospect of a future with you in it. Every story you tell about the future has you in it. And the client sees himself down the road with you in his life, and she feels good about it. When Milagros by my side, it's all good. I know you'll take care of me. I trust you'll take care of me. You fulfill their needs, you resolve their pain, and they feel wonderful as a result. That's the emotional side of it. Logically, it makes sense, and boy, does it make me feel good. I'd love to take care of my family, and this is what it's all about. I'm emotionally certain, I'm logically certain, I like the product, I like you, I like the American national story, let's go. That's how you close a sale. This is why you need both. People buy on emotion. Every sale is an emotional sale. They justify the decision with logic. How can I not buy this? How can we not go to Europe? Tickets are only $2,500. How can we not go? That's deep white mindset. How can we not afford to buy this? It's only $30. I gotta have it right now. I get an electric frying pan, it's only $1. It's broken. Yeah, but it's only $1. That's emotional. Justify it on logic. The human mind is analytical. The more information you give it, the more it wants to know. That's why you need emotional certainty. Because the guy will give you an objection, he's going to give you another objection. Ask for some material, want more material. You're smart, you want to know. The human mind craves information. At some point, we've got to say enough's enough. We're going to offset, I'm not going to give you any more, I'm going to satisfy you emotionally. In emotional, you need logical certainty because the mind is a great BS detector. People know when you're BSing them. They know. That stops us from being swept away emotionally if things don't add up. That's why you need both certainties. You need emotional certainty because you're gonna, at some point, the guy's going to ask you for 100,000 things. You'll say no. You need logical certainty because that's a BS detector. It allows you got to get past the BS detector. Now, the logic is going to get you past the BS detector if he senses it. So the bottom line. If you've gotten both kinds of certainty, you've gotten 3 10s, you've got a great chance of making that sale. If you don't, you don't. If you don't have all 3 10s, if you don't have both kinds of certainty, you may not get a no, you get an objection. Let me think about it. You've got somebody absolutely certain about the product, about you, and about American National. Now here's looping. Every objection is a smokescreen for uncertainty. Brian, if I got an objection, I'm uncertain about either the product, you, or American National. Nothing else. You gotta loop back and find out why. If you overcome the objection, but you don't solve the root cause, which is uncertainty, you haven't done something good. Because it's a smoke screen. It's too expensive, I can't afford it. That's not his reason, that's a smoke screen. He's not sure about something. When you encounter objectives, focus on increasing your prospect's level of certainty for all 3 10s. When he gives you an objection, the timing isn't right, I gotta talk to my wife, I can't afford it, you gotta find out where he's uncertain. It's either the product, you, or the American National. Is your product priced fairly? Does it fit? Does it make sense? Something's missing. You gotta find out what it is. You just can't overcome the objection. That's useless. So they'll give you a new objection. But he's not gonna buy, right? Pretty soon you're like a shortstop fielding objections. Now, stories bring on emotions in people, and decisions to buy are always emotional. A story resides in the same part of the brain that results as the feeling we get when we have fun. Golf is fun, sailing is fun, playing golf, whatever you like to do is fun. You get that feeling in your brain, God, this is fun. Story triggers that same feeling, the same part of the brain. So it's emotional, it brings out emotions in people. That emotional connection that comes with hearing a good story allows you to see something more than somebody selling life insurance. Like, this guy's on my side. He's more than just a peddler, he's not a vendor. So you need 1 or more stories for all 3 towns, is the bottom line. You need stories about the product, stories about you, stories about American National. This is very simple. It's like doing anything else. How do you get good at golf? How do you get to Carnegie Hall? Practice, practice, practice. You gotta practice this stuff so it doesn't sound practiced. As Van Mueller would say, your presentation has to sound conversational. It's a great line. You know the tone of voice you should take, I think, when you're selling somebody something? The tonality should be the same tone of voice as when you're having a very respectful conversation with a close friend. It's not sober, it's not sad, it's not happy. It's how do you talk to your friends? A serious conversation. We should go on vacation. Why do we think we ought to go this year? It's that tone of voice. It's not rehearsed.
Sicily.
What our words mean very little. The actual words are maybe 10% of communication. I'm not going to know today, but it's body language and tonality. It's really important. Then when you're a kid, your mother go, Skater! What did you think?
Uh-oh.
And what if she said, Skater? Same word, different tone of voice, right? That's what that guy was talking about in Galveston last year, the tonality. Ron Price. My mother would use my middle name when she was mad at me. Hey, it's Ron Price.
Yeah, I got the same.
Yeah. Well, body language, if you're not, you're fidgety, how's your tone of voice? The words are part of it, not much of it. So, same protocol. Product first, you second, the company behind the product third. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. Behind the product first, you second, company third. Now here's logic versus emotional certainty. Always establish the logical case first. Rob, that's where you're great. Yeah, I would never think you'd do this anybody the way you talk. You sound like an expert. I had dinner with Kush, who's the chief actuary for Ohio National. Reminded me of you. This guy's plotting down. Smart guy. Always establish.
Is he a Buckeye fan?
He is Buckeye.
He is.
Always establish the logical case first. You've got to have a series of expertly conducted scripts. We should do that for every phase of the sale. Not just this page 72. I mean scripts for everything. Everything. You've got to know exactly what you're going to say before you say it. Did you ever hear a public speaker? Barack Obama did this a lot. Remember Obama would do that. His mind's so quick. He's trying to think what he hasn't decided what he's going to say next. That slight hesitancy. Charlie Hurt on Fox News. I'm sure you got to know what you're going to say before you say it. You don't want the wrong thing to come out. Never say stupid shit. That's rule number one. Never say anything stupid. Anybody. That's rule number one. And here's why we should stories sell. Stories sell. We all remember that movie. It was a very simple movie. Boy meets girl, boy kills the bad guy. When that movie came out, literally the Air Force and the Navy set up recruiting kiosks in movie theaters where that movie was being shown. Guys who come out of that movie and join the Army, join the Navy, join the Marine Corps. And the sale of Ray-Ban sunglasses went up 40% right after that movie came out. Because everybody wanted to be Tom Cruise wearing those aviator glasses. Good stories really sell. Remember Titanic and Seabiscuit and Rudy. Those stories really sell.
And Grease.
And what?
Grease.
Grease?
Yeah, Olivia Newton-John at the end. All the women want to get leathered
Yeah.
and start smoking.
It sells. Look at Ray Charles's quote. Look at that quote.
That's good.
Isn't that a great quote? People are country music for the stories. They say you play a country song backwards, you get your girlfriend back, you get your truck back, you get your dog back.
I've heard that 3 million times.
She's thinking single, I'm drinking doubles. Phone don't ring, you know it's me. Well, it's the same with products. People love products with stories. Every artist, you know any artists, they tell stories in every painting. Let me tell you why I painted what I was thinking. They sell the story. Story selling is more effective than traditional selling. Most insurance agents, and this is Ohio National, God bless them, they train in traditional selling. And that's the intellectual process. Mr. Prospect, you've got a challenge. I'm going to show you how to solve your challenge. How to solve your problem. Meet your challenge. You do that by giving statistics, facts, and figures. Statistically, boom, 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 boom. That's a typical insurance salesperson. Problem is, he's got his own set of statistics. He's trying to talk you out. He's talking himself out of it. He's arguing with you in his head. We don't have salespeople. We always argue with them in our heads. So if you don't succeed in persuading somebody, you've only done something intellectual, that's logical. There's no emotional connection.